In another video about adaptive lessons or linear lessons, we talked about settings for adaptive lessons. And there are two dimensions of adaptivity that we want to discuss briefly here. One dimension we already talked about, where you have an easier version and a harder version and two versions in the middle. And the system, if the student gets the problems right, they go up and get harder content. But if the students consistently get problems wrong, they'll be pushed down to get easier material. So that's one dimension of adaptivity that GEC supports. And another dimension of adaptivity is about the weakest skills. And so think about this black dot as one problem. And this one problem inside GEC exists in 4 difficulty forms. It's the same problem. Same question, same answer, but this is easier text and this is harder text. However, every one of these versions, every one of these 4 versions exists in 6 skills versions. It has a reading question, a listening question, a speaking question, and a writing question. And again, it's the exact same question and answer, but they exist in different skill forms. Now, it looks like 4 here. I said 6. It's because in your output skills you have prompted output, which is not, it does not need AI to analyze. But then you have open-ended speaking output, where this is student-generated language, and either you need a teacher to grade that, or you need the AI to score it. So basically, we have 2 speaking type problems and 2 writing type problems. So you have basically 6 versions of each problem. So in one lesson that has maybe 15 problems in it, each problem exists in 24 different versions. 6 times 4. Yeah, so it's 15 times 24. That's how many problems we have in one lesson, basically. And with this setup, we can have different options. We can have it without the adaptive path and without the weakest skill. So that would just deliver, for example, you'd select A2 and listening only, and every single problem would be A2 listening. If you have it without the adaptive path and with the weakest skill, you can turn this off and deliver at A2, but it's going to know the student's weakest skill, and it's going to deliver more practice on the weak skill and less practice on the others. So that's the weakest skill system. Or you can turn the adaptive path on, like this, and turn the weakest skill off. So you don't have to choose a language level because it's going to modulate, but you do have to choose a skill like open-ended writing. And then every problem is going to be open-ended writing, but it might get a harder writing problem or an easier writing problem. And that's with adaptive path on, but weakest skill off. And the final option is with the adaptive path on and with the weakest skill on. So it's and this is by default, is setting number 4. And not only is it modulating on the difficulty, but it's also modulating on the weakest skill dimension. And we showed that in a teacher account previously here. And you'll see that if the adaptive is on and the weakest skill is off, you only have to choose the skill. But if the adaptive is on and the weakest skill is on, and both are on, you just have to choose on the output skills between prompted and open-ended. However, if you have linear and this is and the weakest skill is on, you don't have to choose the problem type. You only have to choose the output type, but you do have to choose the language level. But if you choose weakest skill off and linear, then you do have to choose the skill, and you do have to choose the language level. And so this seems a bit complicated, but actually it's quite logical. And once you get even a little bit used to it, then you realize that this is extremely powerful options available to teachers here in the way of delivery.